think there's a healthy balance there. You know, he's coming back injury wise, so the rehab process is ongoing. He's in a good spot. Excited about where he's at, but there's definitely a part of like to practice more. You know, I think he's on the same page too. Where you got to balance those things. There's a management part for a lot of players, but there's also you got to practice and get better at your craft and continue to improve. So we'll balance that. I feel good about where that process is for us and for him. I think he's well on the same page as well.
Other factors.
Yeah, I think he's battling the second half of the year quite a bit, but I think in a perfect world, it's a healthier division of labor. I think he ended up carrying the ball a lot. He was our most productive running back, and then Tajay had some injuries early too, so he ended up playing a lot early. And then Tajay sort of came on as the year went on further. So I like really both of those players a lot. I think we can do a better job of managing that load so they both play a little more evenly and allows us to maybe have a spot for a third back between Julius and Khalil with some heavier style back and runner. So hopefully that division of labor gets a little more evenly distributed so he doesn't have to take the brunt of it. And we can get 17 games out of all those guys at their best.
So what
I mean by that is it's an emphasis for us as well. Just like we emphasize trying to eliminate those negative plays and our execution, there is a leadership emphasis. And part of the reason I did what I did with our dividing our team up into teams is now they're all accountable to each other on that team. There's a leadership that starts to grow because now each team has a captain and an alternate, and now you've got more people in leadership spots. One of the things I think is unique about the process is it allows those guys to start to find their own voices, and it's not about an offense versus defense. It's much more of a holistic team approach to it. We encourage these guys to spend a lot more time together, both in the building and out of it. It's been a focus for us, and I think you can develop leadership. I don't think leaders are necessarily just walk into a room ready to lead. I think there's skills you have to learn. You have to have the communication as a leader. You have to know your teammates. We spend a lot more time trying to get to know each other on a level that I think is going to be beneficial to fostering more leadership from more people. One of the things I tell our team all the time that I think is really important is a lot of times you ask people, how do you lead? And most people say, I lead by example. And my retort to that is there's really no such thing in pro sports. Leading by example is the expectation. That's your job. To be on time, to do what you're supposed to do, to work hard, to study. That's part of it. That's in your contract, And so my challenge to our team this year was to do more of the things that require bringing people with you, making other people better. So leadership is something that we talk a lot about. It's a focal point of our offseason, and the idea is that you develop a team full of leaders, and everyone has different styles. But it's something that I think the more people you have that are comfortable in those roles and understand that it's more about how you interact with people and how you make people around you better, that part of it I think is something I'm excited about. So
how did you divide those four, and how do you keep it going that way when you turn to offense, defense, man?
For what? One more time?
The four teams.
There's
that you got
8 teams.
Oh, sorry, the
Yeah,
8. And do you keep that going when you turn into offense, defense?
Yeah, it's all they're still also the cool part about it is you can earn points a lot of different ways. For example, let's say defensively, Amani Hooker has an interception. That's a 3-point swing for his team. But on his team is also the quarterback, and the quarterback threw the interception, so that's a minus 3-point swing. So really, he's a net zero for his team for that particular play. But what it does is you see more communication, more conversation, more accountability to other folks around the team, and they get to know each other on a different level than maybe just offense and defense. That's one of the things I think we need to do a better job of, is just the whole team interacting more, not just by position or by side of the ball. And I think so far it's been a lot of fun. I think the guys have enjoyed it, and I think it's also grown those leadership qualities, those accountability to each other, as opposed to just trying to be the best offense or the best defense that day. He really committed himself to getting his weight at the range that he needed to get it to. He probably admittedly was heavy at the end of last season as the second half of the year wore on. He learned a lot of lessons himself, about what it takes to play tackle in this league. The the caliber of players you face every week, and there's no letdown. And I think every rookie goes through that phase where they realize, man, whatever I did before, I got to do it better if I want to have a chance to be the player I think I'm capable of being. And JC's capable of being an excellent football player, and he really dedicated himself to changing his body. Like a lot of first-year players going into their second year, find ways to do. He looks great. He's in great shape. He's moving really well. I'm excited about where he's at. But all the credit goes to him and just understanding what he realized it was going to take to be the player that he wants to be, and he dedicated himself to it.
So that was his decision. It wasn't like the result of like the exit meetings last year. It was his decision.
Oh, sure. We had
Okay.
we had conversations about it. You know, obviously we track these guys' weight every week, and we're aware of where that's at. And one of the things that he was challenged to do was to get himself in a playing weight that's more suitable to play for 17 games at the level that he needs to play at. So, but he dedicated himself to doing it, and he did it. And right now he's in a really good place. So excited about that.
How much is
The focus is so small right now for us. We have so many things that we need to get better at, that we focus on. The schedule sort of comes out, and it's a big deal, kind of outside in the outside world. And it's not like we didn't know we were going to play these teams. It's just a matter of when you're playing them. Opening in Denver certainly a challenge. That's a hell of an environment. I was a part of that for a long time, and they got a good football team. So it's a good test out the gate for us. It's a really good defense, very well coordinated. A lot of good talent. So yeah, it's a great challenge for us out the gate. And again, we don't get too far down the road thinking about it, but you know, it's certainly going to be a fun opening environment.
for that game?
Well, we'll see if it pays off. I can't make any statements about anything paying off now. We'll see in September, October, and from then on. But yeah, I reflected really hard on what I want the offseason to look like. It is definitely structured much different, just in terms of what we're emphasizing and how we're emphasizing it, how we set up our competition amongst our team, how we're going about the team building process. All those things have changed a little bit for me. Focusing a lot more on the things that win and lose your football games at the end of the day. Things that the penalties, the negative plays, the turnovers. Those are the things that we're focused heavily on and trying to make sure we do a better job executing those things in the moment. There's a lot more to it. I could talk about. I'd probably take up the whole press conference probably, but definitely changed a little bit of the philosophy and the formula, and hopefully that pays off for us.
How can
Yeah, you get a chance to actually see guys work and compete. Everything so far in phase 2 is very individual centered, as far as position groups, and it's unit centered. So you're doing a lot of things with unit, but you're not going up against anybody else. So you get a chance to actually guys compete a little bit. No pads on or anything like that, but we get a chance to see now the schemes. Guys picking up things in real time and real speed and execution against an actual defense and an offense and special teams. So that's the part that's your next step. So it's very teaching focused here in phase 2. A lot of things schematically you're trying to get better at, working a lot of technique and fundamentals, and then you get into phase 3 and you get a chance to see a little bit more application of those things you're working on. So excited about that. It's a good part of the off season. Last ramp up before training camp, really, when you're actually going against each other.
As we look back